Greetings, welcome, divine peace and blessings. I will be forward. I will be forward momentarily. All is truly and indeed a blessing. Please allow time for me to get my Blog Talk Radio platform together at blogtalkradio.com/the divine-prince. You can also call me right now on my live listening and call in number area code 845-277-9143. Otherwise, just be patient with me. Give me about 3 minutes. Of course, if there's a problem on this device, just know that I'm coming right back with my cell phone. So stick in there with me. All is truly and indeed a blessing. Ashe, ashe, oh, ashe. Now come back home. Come back home to Africa. Thank you, Diane Cameron Elam, for creating, writing, producing, singing, performing, and sharing. All is truly and indeed a blessing. Yeah. Greetings, greetings. Welcome, divine, all blessed. Alafia. I'll switch to my device. So just refresh my main page. I'll be right back with you. Just stick in there with me. All is a blessing. Greetings, beloved. Think Bruner. Thank you so much, beloved. All is a blessing. Welcome, welcome. Peace and love, joy and prosperity, tranquility. All is a blessing. Come in on my phone line to 845-277-9143. 845-277-9143. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. All is a blessing and prosperity, revelations and manifestation. Welcome, peace and tranquility in this time, in this moment in time space. To Africa, you're calling your name to win. Come back home to Africa, the fatted calf, golden ring, are waiting on you once again. Coming back to you. I'm longing for my family. Coming back. Da, 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 da. Greetings, Kiana. Greetings, beloved. All is a blessing. Yes. All is a blessing. Welcome, welcome. Greetings, Lafayette. Welcome. Peace and love, joy and prosperity, elevation, revelations. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, beloved. All is a blessing. Greetings, wholeness, wellness, divine, all blessed protection. Yes, Savannah, greetings, greetings, greetings. Seven gentlemen, greetings. Tasha Harris, greetings. My namesake, the Harrises. Come back home. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Divine all blessed. Live now to the Divine Prince, Pan-African spiritualist, practitioner, author, and advisor, Elagoon, Oloye, Hoodoo, Obeya, Okur, sharing with you in all things spiritual, mystical, metaphysical, cosmic of this life cycle. This is my constant prayer, my mantra, affirmation, foundation of who I am, what I teach, how I talk, how I work, how I walk, and my ultimate demonstration along this divine, all blessed life path and journey. All my endeavors, understanding that I and I alone create and co-create my divine destiny, and I alone. The weather doesn't determine if I'm at peace. The weather doesn't determine if I'm happy. The weather doesn't determine if I'm whole. The weather does not determine if I'm centered. The weather does not determine if I am in place in our lives, figuratively and literally. For my new listeners, I speak on interdimensional platforms, and we rebel against it. And rebelling against the rain, the storm, the hurricane, the earthquake doesn't make it not happen. Lessens our ability to then, in that moment, be still and know that we still maintain our power. We still maintain our connection spirit. And right now we're being asked to be still with. Be still and know how creative you can be. Be still and know. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, 2020, and I am emanating and vibrating with of the DivinePrince, Type Potions, Hoodoo Central, in this beautiful, legendary, and most historic city in America, New Orleans, Louisiana, the land of my ancestors and those who came before me along this spirit, life-giving, healing herbs, roots, plants, rituals, spirits, and minerals. All is truly and indeed a blessing. I welcome your questions, your comments, your requests in all capital letters in our chat. Please bear with me if there's too much buffering and it becomes a problem. I'm just going to switch devices. Just know, I'm just going to refresh the show. We'll move right into 82.2 and I'll just come on the device. But right now, things seem to be okay. There is a little bit of buffering, but until that becomes problematic, I'll be here with you. And thank you, Kiona, for helping me. A lot of you all have a lot to say in social media. A lot of you all have a lot to say behind the illusion of protection of your computer and your devices. You're not anonymous. We may not know your legal name. We may not know who you are, but you're not anonymous. And indeed, the social media, the key word should be social. And right now we're in the environment where we're having to redefine social. And so I ask you, please call me at area code 845-277-9143. 845-277-9143 is a toll-free number. So if there's too much buffering, if it becomes a glitch in the show, if there becomes an interruption in the YouTube technology, the audio keeps rolling on Blog Talk Radio. And vice versa. If there's an issue in Blog Talk Radio, and then you no longer can hear me or I can't hear you, then I have the YouTube live platform in which to fall back on. But the benefit of having a mic is the ability to speak your truth. It's the ability to stand in your truth. It's the ability to share your experience and your questions and your comments and your requests. My stars of this show are my callers. So I appreciate those who call in and participate at area code 845-277-9143. And of course, in all capital letters in the chat room so that both myself and Kiona can see them and attend to them with clarity. Welcome to Kia Jet. And as always, in any time, in any space, in any event, we give thanks, we give honor, we give appreciation, we give acknowledgement to our ancestors in all things. But today, today, we acknowledge the governor of the crossroads, who in my daily YouTube surfing. And I was looking for ritual music or Reiki music, as I always am, to complement for the day, for the moment. And titled Legba ritual, Legba music, Legba, etc. So we need to talk a little bit more about the nuances of the farm Legba. and the very much Yoruba, Ilegua, or Eshu, if you will. But that's tricky because for the newcomer who's seeking, and heaven forbid for the self-created individual who really thinks that they're on their way and they're doing it, and then they see Legba, Papa Legba, Crossroads, Legba, Papa Legba, Crossroads, and then all the music is Cubano, Puerto Ricano, Lucumi, Santeria. It's not Legba at all. It's not even for the self-made who thinks they don't need any guidance. They absorb that as a truth. I have a godchild, and still my godchild. I have a child who got many books, and swore by that 7-day ritual calendar. Today, in the ritual calendar of things, it's five. It's Olokun, because it's the ritual calendar, not about the information and how we self-study the information without any guidance. And the instructions this way, and you toss the written material that way, and you just get right into it. You can't do that with this. You shouldn't do it with any student. Shouldn't do it. Elementary school student, high school student, college student. Technically, you're reading. Some of what you're seeing online is not what it's for. In the previous show, that's being promoted to you, primarily for your dollars, primarily for your financial support, not because they're gifting you any real information, any real empowerment, any real skills, any real tools that result-oriented work would require. And I like to compare it to science. Alchemy. There's a process, and it should be repeat any drug or any food. There's going to be that one or two, or that don't jive with that product. But in a general sense, the knowledge should be repeatable, should be examinable. So be careful about the books y'all reading, the videos y'all are watching, the songs y'all are listening to, if you're paying attention to word and what's said. So a lot of what I found on YouTube this morning labeled Legba and Papa Legba, and at the crossroads, it's not Legba music at all. And there are clear nuances in those deities. But I believe Ajay is the power of deeper than just luck, but your prosperity, luck, prosperity. It's not something that sort of just happens. It's something that we can carry within us like a seed, like an egg, and nurture that to the recreation and the creation of our reality. So people who lean towards doubtfulness, who lean towards worry, who lean towards critical negativity, see that manifest, even if they carry that seed of Ajay, that seed of luck, that seed of blessing. Because in the storm, in the midst of the weather, you can't see what you have. You're often distracted by the emotion. You're often distracted by what appears, which shows up as the negative event, negative activity. And always the erudite, the true spiritual person, the true spiritualist should have already mastered this, the ability to sit in the storm without leaning to the left or the right, forward or the back. Sometimes you have to just be still until you see what's really happening. Sometimes things don't happen instantaneously. Sometimes things don't happen in the moment. Sometimes things don't happen right in front of you. And sometimes we get pieces of the information, pieces of the vision, pieces of the puzzle, pieces of our lives as we go along from day to day. And things sometimes don't make sense until after the fact or later on or down the road. And that's why I stress that journaling. You got to journal. You got to keep note of your spirit activity. I see you. You'll be able to hear and see me. But I am going to refresh the chat and see if I can get my chat back. Because indeed, the chat has stopped loading, unable to connect to the chat. So give me a second to refresh my